Sox had a major flyover in the 7th inning last night with a 7-run put away of the Royals in a 9-3 victory. Now an effort to win the series this evening at Guaranteed Rate Field against Kansas City. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone, Chuck Garfon along with you, and Nicky Delmonico last night coming off the injury a couple of months ago. Nicky with 5 RBIs, career high, starting to swing it very well.
It hasn't been the year that Nicky Delmonico had wanted because of the injury. He was doing pretty well before that, came off a little shaky, but now he's swinging it like we saw him swing it in spring training. But look at the defense. Nicky goes back, makes a great play, crashes into the wall, but holds on to the baseball. Then he started hitting the ball, which is something he does best. He drove in 5 last night, had a huge night, including a big 3-run homer. It was a second 3-run homer in the 7th inning. And the Sox, for all intents and purposes, did give it away, largely because of the heroics of Nicky. So he did it with the glove, he did it with the bat last night, and hopefully he can continue doing it.
Sox are in a stretch of more than 2 weeks in a row against the American League Central, and the offense has really turned it on.
There is no doubt that the Sox are starting to hit the baseball, and they're doing it consistently, which is a good thing. Helps out the pitching staff, helps out the defense. You look at batting average over the last 5 games at .278. Look at the hits. Look at the home runs. I mean, every category, average with runners in scoring position, which is something that Ricky Renteria has been talking about all year long, so it's going very well. The team is enjoying what's happening at this point. They're hoping to keep it up.
Sox trying to close strong. Kansas City, the opponent, game 2 of 3 on this lovely evening for baseball. Tim Anderson, 3 hits yesterday. Headlong with a stolen base. Then one more time. Looking exactly like his bobblehead that they're giving out today. Tim and the Sox come up after this.
trusted Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Well, it was the base running of Tim Anderson that sparked the first couple of runs yesterday, and then a 7th-inning sledgehammer for the Sox en route to a 9-3 victory over Kansas City. And here we are tonight, aiming for the series win against this Kansas City lineup brought to you by the Webb Auto Group. Merrifield once again at the top. He plays second base tonight. Then Gordon and Perez and Duda and Bonifacio. O'Hearn's first start of the series. Same with Mondesi and Phillips and Escobar, who had a couple hits last night, batting ninth.
Let's take a look at the defense. Put out there by Ricky Renteria and presented by UI Health. It's Nicky, Adam, and Abisail in the outfield, left to right, with Yomer, Tim, Yohan, and Jose in the infield. Kevin Smith gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Dylan Covey. On for the 17th start, he's 4.9, his ERA up over 6. There you look at the rest of the numbers. He's a sinker baller, not too many strikeouts. Left-handers have really done him some damage, just under 300. And hopefully that sinker will be working tonight. The umpires for the game this evening: Trip Gibson has the plate, Ryan Additon has first base, and it's Adrian Johnson, and the crew chief Mark Carlton is at third. So once again, as has been the case, a beautiful night for baseball as we look at Ned Yost, who pilots the Kansas City Royals, who have had some better times in the last couple of years. Especially Ricky Renteria knows that the best is yet to come from his very young ball club. So with the wind very much a non-factor tonight, not a cloud in the sky, Merrifield strides up to the plate. We're ready to play baseball, and I'm ready to turn it over to my always voracious reading, Jason Benetti.
3 adjectives.
Yes.
Or a 3-word adjective. A lot of hyphens today. Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
Let's play some baseball, shall we? Game number 2, Dylan Covey against Kansas City, a team that he's well acquainted with. His first start of the season came against the Royals back in April, up from AAA for a doubleheader back at Kauffman Stadium. His first pitch is a strike, and we are underway. .610 first pitch, 75 degrees on this lovely Saturday evening, and we're so glad to have you along for 9 innings of baseball.
Dylan would like to turn things around against this Royal team. He's 0-5 with an ERA of 6.34 career-wise against him.
Oh, 2 is downstairs. You mentioned the sinker ball stuff for Covey, and he's thrown 870 sinkers this year. That's 62% of his pitches. So as you read the scouting report, you're going to see a lot of sinker, but his changeup has been really effective when it's been put in play. Just an .095 average against that pitch so far this year.
Well, at first glance, you'd say throw it a bit more, but at 11%, that's where he feels comfortable. The slider at 17%, but the overwhelming amount is that sinker and the curveball on just an occasional basis.
Into left field, that's a base hit for Merrifield. So Whit Merrifield still has yet to make an out in this series. He's been on base 5 straight times.
That ball wasn't a strike. It was inside. It was off the plate, and Merrifield just went and got it and drilled it into left field. That's the problem with sinker ballers. Instead of ground balls early, they're line drives, as you saw from Merrifield, who's just been not only red hot against our ball club, but having just a great year overall.
Came into the series right at 300 in the batting average. He gets on base more than 37% of the time. As Gordon takes strike 1. Kansas City as a team, the one thing they do very well offensively is make contact. They have the 7th fewest strikeouts of any major league team this year. Gordon against Covey is 5 for 14 career. And in fact, you look at the guys who've seen Dylan Covey most in their careers, and the top 6 are either current Royals or former Royals. He's seen Kansas City more than any other team.
Merrifield swiped 26 bags, and he's getting a good lead at first. Now, if Ned Yost is thinking about running, this is usually a good pitch to run. 2-1 pitch, you very rarely, if ever, will see a pitch out.
He ran 1-1 in the first inning yesterday. Lucas Duda was up, and Merrifield caught stealing. (2-1). He does not run, and the ball's fouled away. 2-2 for Gordon. Sox have opened play today, only 4 games back of the Tigers for 3rd place in the American League Central, with Cleveland now running away at 19 games over. Starting play, they did lose to Baltimore to drop to 70-52. Three balls and 2 strikes for Gordon. Merrifield stays put for now.
Salvi Perez in the on-deck circle. You would think Merrifield would be running to try to stay out of the double play, although Gordon grounds into very few of them for a guy who's been up as much as he has. 360 at bats. He's grounded into just 5 double plays all year.
That's not many.
No, that's actually really good. But he hits a lot of fly balls these days, which at times works to his detriment.
Oh, Merrifield was well off the bag, and he's picked off. First inning junkets for Whit Merrifield in this series have not been tremendous.
Leaning the wrong way, and that's all it took. Nice tag. Jose puts a tag on him, and as you can see, that false break to second base got him, and he's out by plenty. Well-timed pickoff move, because that was the time to run.
3-2 is ball 4. So instead of 2 on, nobody out, they have 1 on, 1 out. And we tell you what you're going to see during our telecast, among other things. This Saturday, a milestone home run against Kansas City, plus somebody going into the drink. You need to see that, and something else going into a drink later on. Plus, one thing with Ricky about Jose Abreu and how he turns it on as quickly as he does, seemingly in the blink of an eye. One on, 1 out, and Salvador Perez. Somebody's taken a highlighter to his shoes. Just pointing out the important parts of the feet, evidently.
I thought at first they were some sort of polyurethane coating to stop foul balls from breaking some of his appendages. But could very possibly be that's not the case.
Some people get highlights in their hair, others get it on their footwear.
Well, certainly you will not misplace your shoes that way.
There you go.
Could very well be a little bit of a thicker plastic coating.
And whoever did that did his gloves as well.
You want to be sartorially resplendent.
Of course.
That is the key in this game.
And nothing goes better together than blue and yellow. In the dirt, bouncing away, and that gets a base for Gordon. So how important is the pickoff right now?
Very important, and that was a wild pitch, as you would expect, as that ball hit in front of the plate, well wide of the plate, and Kevin Smith with no chance whatsoever. So Covey does not have a real good release point at this point. That's his 5th wild pitch of the year.
He struck him out. He went with a curveball for round number 2.
Well, just 9% of the time, Dylan doesn't throw this too often. But he's pretty happy with the result of that at bat, as Perez goes down on strikes for a big second out.
Brings up Duda, who was 0 for 4 yesterday, 3 strikeouts. A lot of power in that bat. We've seen over the course of his career, now 32 years old, as he takes strike 1. Last year, 30 home runs combined for Duda. 2014, the same deal with the Mets. Now a 9-year big league career, at least parts of 9 seasons.
Moncada way back on the grass. Duda does not have particularly good speed, and he is a dead pull hitter normally.
Moncada waits for it to arrive and throws Duda out. A hit, a walk, and no runs, no score. Bottom 1 coming up. Keller to face the Sox. Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price. Go to webcars.com. Moncada, Sanchez, Abreu, Polka back in today. Then Avi returning after being pulled in the 3rd yesterday. Delmonico, Anderson, Smith, and Engel.
The Royals defense, and now Ned Yost is going to put him out there with Gordon, Phillips, and Bonifacio in the infield. Escobar, Mondesi, Merrifield, and Duda with Salvi Perez getting the plate. And our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Brad Keller. King-size right-hander on for his 14th start, 35th overall. And you see a .500 record. Pretty good ERA of 3.40. And he is a fastballer.
Oh, yeah. At 94 on the 4-seamer. He'll throw a sinker about a quarter of the time as well.
He's averaged just under 95 miles an hour on every fastball he's thrown this year, which is a good average.
Just missed 1-1.
Keller was in the bullpen when this season started and did a nice job of it.
See, there's a slider from him, and he'll mix that in as well. But the bullpen thinned out when he came out of it.
Yeah. Well, he was a Rule 5 pick. And then they put him in the bullpen because they really didn't know if he was going to be good enough to be a starter. Their starting rotation wasn't as problematic as the bullpen, so he helped them out there. And then they had some problems with the rotation, and he's helping him out there.
High school draft pick out of the state of Georgia in the 8th round of 2013. A couple of starts against the Sox, an ERA of 6. A nubber. Mondesi. Just under the wire for round number 1. Here's what Keller throws, and you said it's mostly fastball. You combine four-seamer and sinker, you get about 70%. Changeup is just about a rumor.
Infrequently used, as they say.
They do.
Yes.
In fact, you do too.
Occasionally.
Infrequently.
Only when it's at 6%. 7%, I'll say, yeah, not so infrequently used.
Better,
something like that.
Yeah, better for the changeup than your milk. As this is back to Keller. He collects and throws Sanchez out. 2 gone.
Keller had a hard time with that one, dropping it to start with, then going down to get it, but couldn't corral it right away, but had plenty of time.
Big round of applause for Jose. Not that he normally doesn't get that response, but a little bit more today after the 3-run homer that off the bat everyone in the ballpark knew was gone.
2 3-run homers in the same inning yesterday, and the Sox against the Royals this year have averaged just under 2 home runs per game, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's a keeper offensively. Sox have tormented this Kansas City pitching staff, and now Sox have a home run in 9 straight games. Ball and a strike on Jose. We'll talk to Ricky Renteria a little bit later in our One Thing with Ricky, but we've talked about it before. Abreu, when he gets out of a slump, he does it and then immediately slams the gas pedal down to the ground. Gordon in left controls this one to retire the side. 2 ground balls and a line out, and we'll play the second scoreless. All our viewers and bears watching on Nova Cablevision in Lake Bracken, Illinois. You've been to Lake Bracken?
I have not. It's on my list, though.
I'm going to ask about the heading. Places to go, I assume.
After I get back from Mozambique.
Which actually I thought that's where you were when we were in Detroit, but evidently not. 1 down for O'Hearn as Bonifacio is dispatched quickly. Hey, how about some of these races in Major League Baseball right now?
Well, Oakland has been a miraculous story, and when you take a look at how far back they were, only to see after the game today that they find themselves in a dead tie with Houston atop the division. That's just astonishing.
Good for Bob Melvin.
It really is, because he's as good a manager as there is in baseball, and better than most, and finally now starting to get the acclaim that he really should have had for quite some time. He's a good one.
How about Matt Chapman? After a win the other night, he used the post-game interview as a platform to say, we're fun. Come see us. Have fun with us. And they've held up their end of the bargain against the Astros early in this series.
I mean, they've really been a remarkable story. And you take a look at it now in a dead tie. I mean, 74-49. You get the Mariners, who were right in the thick of things. In fact, everybody's question was, can Oakland possibly catch Seattle? Because that was the thought process.
Yeah.
Now it's, what can Seattle do to get back in this race? And, you know, they keep talking about baseball. There's so many players. It's not like basketball where one man can really affect the entire team.
Yes, it can.
We're talking about, you know, building as the Bulls did around Michael Jordan, or obviously teams that build around LeBron. But you see the tremendous disadvantage it is with Altuve out of the Astros lineup, because since they lost him, and he is a spark plug of that team, has been for quite some time. Since they lost him, they're having a hard time with that good pitching staff, and now getting Springer back off the DL, having a hard time winning without Altuve.
Which is interesting because they stayed afloat without Correa earlier this year. And that's not to say one's better than the other, but you can see what a prime at bat Altuve provides.
Yeah, I mean, look, Correa is a terrific player. I mean, he's one of the best players in baseball. However, he's not the guy who makes that team go, as we're seeing with the injury to Altuve. It has been Altuve for quite some time and will continue to be. And let's see if they can get him back.
Tim played perfectly and has out number 2, O'Hearn. Delivered back to the dugout, and Mondesi coming up. And meantime, St. Louis with a win today would pass Milwaukee in the NL Central for second place. And then you've got the Rockies hanging out in the National League West, still with a negative run differential, and they're trying to play Rocktober again about 10 years later.
It's pretty amazing when you look at the Dodgers, who are just 2 games in back, Colorado a game and a half, and Arizona the precarious lead, but they have the lead. Also, I mean, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the NL East. Atlanta and Philadelphia, 2 teams that nobody thought had a chance to catch Washington. Well, they haven't exactly put away Washington yet, but there's 7 games in back of 2 teams.
Well, they've put enough distance in between them and the Nationals that people are writing stories about Bryce Harper and Daniel Murphy being placed on waivers, which happens to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to write a story every time a star was placed on waivers, that would be the entire story after the trading deadline, because that's what happened. Your whole team goes on waivers. You see who you can get through. Sometimes you do, most of the time you don't, but that leads to speculation of Harper to the Phillies. And a lot of people talking about that.
Well, you know which teams are in a little bit of trouble when there's a lot of reporting on their waiver procedures.
That's true, and Washington is one of those teams. 62 and 61 coming into play today. The Nationals, a very disappointing ball club. And you're sitting with the 2 young teams, Atlanta and Philadelphia, sitting there at 1 and 2 in the division, with Philadelphia just a half game back, 1 game back in the loss column.
3-2 is up and out. Ball 4. It's the second walk for the Royals in this game, and it brings up Phillips in the second inning.
They haven't been particularly aggressive in this series, but I would look for Mondesi to be running here. He swiped 15 bags, been caught 3 times. Speed is a huge part of his game. The Royals want to see if he can indeed play it on a daily basis. That's one of the reasons why they've been testing him at shortstop. See what he's got there.
One thing teams don't get a chance to do as much when they're in a playoff race is use the field as a laboratory to see what they have. And sometimes you find out either that you have something more than you expected or something a little less, and then you have to make contingency plans. But both these teams are in that scenario right now.
Royals got Phillips from Milwaukee, and one of the things that we saw that he possesses is a cannon for an arm.
Man, the throw he made from center.
He can really throw it. That was 100 miles an hour. And I guess you'd have to call that entrance velocity.
Yeah, Well, it leaves his hand and then enters the atmosphere and ends up somewhere else.
Yeah, it wound up in the catcher's glove pretty quickly from center field.
I'd like to see him and that kid Laureano from Oakland have a throwing contest. Why don't we do that at the All-Star game, honestly? Why don't we have a throwing contest? Part of the skills competition.
Right after what, the singles, doubles, and then the triples derby, and then we have the throwing derby.
The double play ballet.
This would be good. Yeah, this would be very nice.
Probably call it something else.
We'd have to call it, instead of the All-Star break, we'd have to call it the All-Star month.
Well, look, you just add on to the celebrity softball game or whatever. Why don't you play in that, by the way, the celebrity softball game?
I had to recuse myself.
You've basically recused yourself from living.
Well, softball, certainly.
Ball and a strike on Phillips. Runner goes. Good pitch to throw on. It's wide, though. And Mondesi safe at second base. He didn't get a great jump.
No, but without a good jump, great acceleration, because he's probably a step and a half to full go, and he made this play easily. Not a good throw, but it wasn't the best jump, but he got there very quickly.
Ooh, did he come off?
Came very close to.
In the ensuing action, as they say.
16-3 in the stolen base department for Mondesi.
That will do it. Stolen base doesn't matter. Kobe gets the strikeout of Phillips. Take a flight with us. Bottom two on the way. Sox into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Keller to Palka. Daniel breaks his bat. And Duda steps on the bag for out number one as we check in for the first time today with Chuck Garfien. Hi, Chuck. Nice coat.
Thanks, Jason. Well, we've seen throughout the season Rick Renteria bench some of his players when he sees them not giving what he believes is their best effort. That is what happened last night with Avi Garcia, who has been battling with some knee issues throughout the season. In fact, Renteria says his knee's probably not going to get better this season. They don't believe it's going to get any worse, but the expectation is that these guys are going to give their best effort every single day that they take the field. And it's really about a mentality, a mindset that Renteria and the coaches are trying to set with their players. They want them to think and play a certain way. They're building that foundation right now. They want to be consistent with the message, and Avi Garcia apologized after the game, to Renteria for the way that he played. He's back out there tonight.
Chuck, it's really interesting that you use the word think there, because whenever you're changing a habit, as Ricky Renteria talks about, you're going to have to rethink that habit, and you're going to have to, first of all, not allow it to become a habit, but eventually he wants this to become an automatic process without thinking that you just immediately run, as Avi's sent away quickly by Keller. But we saw a very long conversation, a glimpse of which you looked at just moments ago.
He had actually 2 conversations with Avi as he was trying to get across to him, look, I'm pretty sure I understand the knee issue. However, you have to understand my issue if I let it go. Because he's seen Avi run with the knee problem.
Yep.
And he does it on ground balls. He does it when he sniffs out a base hit. He will hustle as well, certainly, and probably better than just about anybody on the team. So this is not an overriding philosophy for Avi. This is just one of those things where a manager wants to imprint on his young team. There's a certain way he expects them to play ball. And if they play that way, they won't hear from him. If they don't, they're going to hear from him. And Avi heard from him right away. Understood the position he was in, understood what he was trying to get across, and so that's the deal.
Nicky charges one up again, right center field, gone! He did it again. Hey, Nicky, 1-0.
Very hard to judge this year for Nicky Delmonico, because just as he was getting started, he took the fastball off his hand. He was gone for the better part of 2 months, and now we'll look at the Ford home run replay. It looked like it was a slider that didn't slide. And Nicky gets enough of it, even though he hits it off the end part of the bat. It just barely makes it over the wall, but that is home run number 5, RBI number 17, and a couple of very nice days against this Kansas City ball club.
He's starting now to look like the guy we saw at the end of last year.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was going to say. If you liked him at the end of last year, then take a look at the progress of Nicky Delmonico as this year comes to an end, because it's not a full season for him. He's just having one of those years that gets interrupted by something you can't foresee, which is like a fastball off your hand that breaks it. And now he's come back, and the rhythm and the timing is back again, but it's taken him a while, and we're seeing one of the products that the Sox have as far as a young left-hand hitter.
And with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Nellius family in loving memory of Ursula. And for Nicky, maybe, just maybe, he's starting to floor it offensively to the finish line.
Well, it's one thing to think about Nicky Delmonico, another thing to think about the ball club. And this is the reality of what happens at this time when you're playing with teams that are not in the running. The best thing that's happened to Nicky Delmonico this year was being on the White Sox. The reason is, if he's on a contending club, he doesn't get a chance to do what he's doing here.
Right.
But now he's not only auditioning for the Sox. If they like him, he's auditioning for 29 other teams. And that's usually the case. When you get your opportunity, you have to make the most of it, because you never know if it's going to work out with the team you happen to be playing with. But because there's scouts in the stands all the time and every game is watched, there's a lot of people going to be very interested in the progress of Nicky Delmonico now going forward.
Well, if you're on a contending team at this time of year, there is a strong chance, if you're the last guy on the bench, and that's certainly not Nicky's position right now, but if you're the last guy on the bench, you might get squeezed out in a trade like the one that the Phillies made for Justin Bour, because they wanted to have a different kind of last bat off the bench. In this situation, if you're producing with the Sox, you're able to show what you can do for the balance of a season.
And you're able to show what you can do before a whole plethora of really good, young, talented players starts to move on the White Sox horizon.
Check swing, he went, strike 3. Keller fans Anderson, but Nicky deposits a ball nearly into a glove. It was almost a souvenir. It's certainly a run. Reach out and grab it. Hang on. They didn't, but he got a chain for his troubles.
fan of the game, someone who's with the team through thick and thin. And if you think you have what it takes, you can enter at NBCSportsChicago.com/White Sox AF.
Escobar, first pitch foul ball, 0-1. You pointed out something about today on the calendar that I think is rather interesting.
8/18/18.
Yeah. Same forward as it is backward.
An interesting day.
A palindrome, as they say.
Thought there was a skating rink.
Where they do the cycling is a velodrome.
Something like that. Yeah. Sure it's not a palindrome?
Ball with 2 strikes on Escobar. Beautiful thing about baseball is you can say something like the 1-2 and just go away from conversations you don't want to be part of.
Now ready. Is that how you do that?
Yeah, that's just about how. Where'd you learn that back in the day?
I heard that from somebody. Don't remember exactly who. Seemed to be a lot older than me at the time.
1-2 is downstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. She was not born when that phrase was coined.
She was not. But she does have herself a very good glove, and I love the pink stitching on it. That is really a handsome glove.
Probably wouldn't be able to be used in a regulation game because of the distinct colors. There are rules against brilliant colors for gloves.
Yeah, sometimes, but that one is so good looking they'd probably allow it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
The awesome clause they used. Let things like that pass. 3-2. Pumped on the ground to third. Sanchez across the diamond for round number 1. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your home team throughout the season and the official mortgage provider of the Chicago White Sox. Get started today, right now, at rate.com. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Our entire crew, wherever you may be this beautiful Saturday evening in Chicago.
And here's going to be a real test because the Covey sinker has worked well the last couple of innings. It did not work well in the first inning when he faced Merrifield the first time. Let's see if he can induce a ground ball, because that's been something tough to come by from Merrifield.
So Dylan Covey this year in the first 3 innings average against 270, 234, 218. Then it jumps to 345 and 392 in the 4th and 5th, which basically equates to the 2nd and or 3rd time through the order. So we'll see if that sinker continues to do its magic, as you said. Late on the breaking ball. 1-2.
That was a very good curveball. So tonight, despite the fact that he doesn't use it too often, he's had a very good curveball. Let's see if he's going to use it a bit more if Kevin Smith calls it.
See, that fastball got up to 95, and that's the point right around where you'd say he starts to lose some of that sinking action, right?
Yeah, well, it depends on if it's 95 easy or 95 with effort. Some guys try to get up another mile an hour, and when that happens, the ball will flatten out. You lose the elasticity in your arm, and you don't have the same movement.
Strike 3 downstairs. Change up this time. So Merrifield got a face full of the secondary stuff, and he punches out.
When you're out there on the mound, you can learn something from each and every pitch. And one of the things that he learned in this at bat, and I'm sure he will look at it, study it, take a look at where the pitches were, how he threw them, and realize that you can get a really good hitter out more easily taking something off than you can putting something on. So it was 2 off-speed pitches, the curveball and then the straight change, and he retired a guy that had not been retired the entire series.
Yeah, it's his first out after a single, a double, 2 walks, and another single. And there maybe overthrew a couple of fastballs to get behind Gordon. Full side shift for Gordon. And 3-0. Three strikeouts, 2 walks for Covey. A single and 4 ground ball outs. And there is walk number 3, second to Gordon. Well, last night James Shields did a bang-up job helping the bullpen. He went 7 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, and it was only Fry and Vieira pressed into duty for 2 innings.
I thought James was very good last night. Just the 6 hits in the 7 innings. Walked only 1, was in command, and left the team with 6 outs to cover. You can't do it much better than that, as well as getting the win.
Strike 1 to Salvador Perez.
There's a look at James, who, despite the record, and it's not a good record, but he's had some really nice moments this year, and he's taken a whole lot of games into the 7th and 8th innings.
It's hard to quantify how many relievers he's helped this year, but the amount of taxation on those relief arms has been minimized by that guy for the most part this season.
You'd love to have 2 or 3 guys that will consistently take the game that deep to save your bullpen, but more times than not, you don't have 3 guys to do that.
Close, 1-2. Even teams who do have that struggle sometimes in the bullpen. Houston gave away a lead yesterday, and they've got a starting staff that typically keeps it away from the bullpen. Ball and 2 strikes is waved down and missed. Strike 3. Covey uses the breaking ball to end the inning. Bottom 3, Sox lead 1-0.
Chuck Garfien goes one-on-one with Jim Thome in Cooperstown. Sox celebrate the history and tradition of Negro League baseball in Chicago and more. White Sox All Access Monday at 11 on NBC Sports Chicago.
Chuck, give us a little hint as to what we'll hear from Thome in that piece.
Well, I talked to him right before the induction ceremony, and we really just kind of delve into what that weekend was like. A life-changing event for him, and it was like a reunion, a life reunion for him, because everyone in his baseball life, people he knew, fans he never met, all congregated in Cooperstown to be there for Jim. So it's a really just kind of encapsulate what it was like to be Jim Thome that weekend one of the biggest baseball weekends of his life.
It's just awesome to see his reaction. He genuinely cares about how it affects everybody else. I mean, he's one of the guys who you'll hear and mean it say how much it means to him that it means to so many other people.
And he went around everyone he talked to, every place he did an interview, everyone he talked to about the Hall of Fame gave a tremendous amount of credit to his entire family. I'm talking about mother and father, as well as his wife and his children, talking about it being really a family affair because everybody has a hand in it.
There were so many cool moments that happened over the weekend. My favorite might be this. After the ceremony, I see his father, Chuck, sitting right outside the Hall of Fame, and he had this look on his face like something big had just happened, bigger than his son just getting inducted into the Hall of Fame with that speech that he gave. And he had just been into the Hall of Fame, and he screwed in the plaque himself for his son. How about that?
I mean, you think of the pride as Kevin grounds out to Merrifield. You think of the pride of knowing that your son has done this thing and you're standing there right there with him, and you have placed this memento on this wall where there are all of these names, and you think of all the people who've been involved in building that place to become the shrine that it is, and your son is one of them.
That's pretty amazing.
And Jim uses the word awesome a lot, and Chuck said to me, I know Jim uses this word a lot, but it was awesome.
We know where he got it, right?
Right.
Read today the Indians are going to retire his number, so Jim will have 25 retired with Cleveland.
He might be there this weekend.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think that's when it's happening, is either today or tomorrow. On the ground, and Mondesi can't handle it. Engel safe at first.
Even if Mondesi does come up with this, he's not going to throw Adam Engel out. It is a base hit, and justifiably so, as he takes it back up the middle.
You got a hit on that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Sometimes you can get paid off on a trip to the lumberyard. Adam might need a new bat for next time, but he's on first, one down for Moncada. And that one nearly got away. Darryl Boston went and ran for cover.
Well, he saw that one heading right toward him, and we've seen the improvement in Duda at first base defensively. Darryl probably hasn't. He wants to make sure that he got out of the way of that one quickly.
He checked his stopwatch. Is he timing his own
escape
exit velocity?
Yes, plenty of that.
Darryl's gonna go bail. Debo. See, the thing is, he ducked into it, into the path of the ball.
Well, maybe he trusts Duda a little bit more.
Solid lead for Adam. He goes. Throw is high. Engel steals second base.
Stolen base number 13 against caught stealing, just 3 of them. So we got a good lead. It was not a good throw. And he slid in under the tag. Good throw to have been awfully close. This was not a good throw.
Darryl, your thoughts? Vindication. One strike on Moncada. One is downstairs. Sox are closing in on 100 steals for the year. That was number 83. There's always one person in the crowd who yells balk.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think there's any chance that the people in the crowd of a baseball game who yell balk on a fake to a base are the same people who yell it's in the hole on every shot at a golf tournament?
I would say the same type of person, not the same person per se.
But there's overlap, you think?
Yeah. Well, there's a fan club. Yeah.
They don't have much of a fan club for them, though, I don't think. Keller challenged him. High slider, 3-2.
This looked like it was going to be quite a challenge because the Sox came in homering in 9 straight games. They've already hit a homer to move that to 10. But Keller very rarely gives up home runs. That was just the 5th he's given up in closing in on 100 innings of work. In this day and age, that's a very low total.
Struck him out at 94. 2 gone. Join the White Sox in honoring Chicago area police and fire departments. It's Thursday, August 30th, Police and Fire Night. First 10,000 fans get a Yolmer Sanchez celebration-themed T-shirt presented by UL. For more than a century, UL has been committed to fire safety. Learn more at ul.com/fire. To get your tickets, visit whitesox.com/PDFD or call 866-SOX-GAME. And here is Yolmer Sanchez, whose face and bucket are on that T-shirt.
Keller's got an interesting fastball because from the time he started throwing it, it's acted like a cutter. And at first, he was very unhappy with that until he got to Double-A, and they finally told him, hey, look, that's a good thing, not a bad thing, because it gives you extra movement on your fastball. So continue to throw it, and then we'll work on another one that goes into the left-hand hitter.
And it's strange how you
away from the left-hand hitter, excuse me.
Right, right. Yeah. And it's strange how you have something that I don't know how to harness this. I don't know. And people say, then don't. Just throw it.
Just throw it because you got some extra movement. And he also, on the 2-seam fastball, has come up with something that he can make move away from the left-hander. So now he has the 2 movements, which are good.
Fouled away. Last the Sox saw him, it was a couple of weeks ago, August the 2nd. A lot of 4-seam fastballs, 21 sinkers, bunch of sliders, but most of the strikeouts were on the 4-seamer. Keller to Sanchez. Line foul left side.
That time he took something off and almost got somebody in the Kansas City dugout.
Knocked a towel over at least.
That was pretty close.
How do you clean up a towel? Towel's already down. Oh, and 2 again. Angle at second, 2 out. Angle in scoring position, 1 and 2 on Sanchez. On the ground to third. Escobar for the final out. Sox strand 1. 1-0 Sox. Parachute in for the 4th when we come back. Jason, Tim Anderson bobblehead.
Very nice. The Tim Anderson bobblehead, he's sliding just as he did and has done consistently. And he likes it, so I'm sure you'll like it. Plus, he's autographed a few of them.
Yes, he has.
So we don't know which are the ones that are autographed or not, so it could very well be this is one of those. All you have to do is be smart enough, quick enough, and accurate enough to be able to win.
That's all you got to do.
That's it.
We also have 2 tickets to the upcoming premiere of Hawk the documentary at ArcLight here in Chicago. So that's on the prize shelf today as well. You'll be on the VIP list.
We also have the authentic fan
knee pack.
Whatever this is. What is this?
It's the authentic fanny pack.
Oh, that's it.
Covey gets a big swing and a miss from Duda. Authentic Fan Day is coming up again.
I know. It seems to be here almost before we know it. It sneaks up on you.
It does. The authentic
really does.
fan will sneak up on you.
Yep.
NBC Sports Chicago, of course, the home of the authentic fan. Two and two. In the air, left-hand side. No play for Sanchez. So this homestand stretches through tomorrow, then a quick jaunt to Minneapolis.
For one game.
One game.
And then back here, and we should get to know those Twins a whole lot because they're going to follow us back here, and they're going to enjoy it so much they're going to play us twice more.
It's true.
Yep.
Night game, day game, Tuesday, Wednesday. And the Sox will be headed to their second home in Detroit for 4 more. This ball's hit well to left field. Delmonico has room. Here's your Sox Math question for today. Hashtag Sox Math. First correct answer wins a prize off the shelf. Number of runs the Sox scored last night multiplied by runs Nicky Delmonico drove in last night. Again, it's Saturday, so you better be creative with your answer because Steve is going to pick the winner.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, it's Steve Stone, Sox Math Saturday.
I really enjoy this. It's a tremendous amount of responsibility. I take it on gladly. Now, have we established that whoever wins this has to have the right answer?
Yes, that's always the case. Sanchez off the broken bat, slings it for round number 2. So Dylan Covey has his stuff working tonight.
He really does. Plus, he's moving it around nicely, and that is a good thing. Now, if he had a choice, he would do away with the 3 walks. However, when he's had to make a big pitch, he's made it. So that differentiates this particular outing from the last couple, where when he went through the lineup for the second time, he had some difficulties. Not so to this point. He's given up just a leadoff single to Merrifield, and that's been it.
3 walks haven't dinged him very much. As there's ball 1 on O'Hearn.
He's hitting just 194. Hit the ball pretty well the first time up, only to see Tim Anderson in the shift standing right in front of it. But I really have liked the way he swung the bat.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the results. I'm looking at the contact he's made and the type of at-bats he has and the approach he seems to have, and it looks like it's all in the proper spot.
How so? What do you like? There's a strike.
Well, he doesn't like the fact that that was a call third. He thought that he had checked it up. But
just the way about him?
Yeah, I like the way he stands up there. He doesn't seem to commit himself too early, so it seems like he's back on just about everything. And he's not fooled all that much.
That's foul, 2-2.
Now, quite obviously, what he has to do is, like so many other young hitters, you got to get the at-bats under him. He's only had 30 this year.
Downstairs, 3 balls, 2 strikes on O'Hearn. He's gone full twice now.
Mondesi in the on-deck circle. He stole a base, drew a walk the first time up in the second inning.
O'Hearn stays alive. 3-2. He struck him out, swung it back over the inside corner. Goodbye, Mr. O'Hearn. Jose Abreu, the subject of One Thing with Ricky. That's right when we get back from these words. What makes Jose Abreu the kind of guy who can jump in and out of slumps just like that?
Well, I think that in theory it seems like he came in and out. I think he just continues to work his routines. He knows what he's capable of doing. He trusts what he's capable of doing, and doesn't really allow himself to get down into the doldrums. He just knows he can work himself out and put himself on a good path. And fortunately for us right now, he's back on a good path.
What makes that routine of his special?
His ability and personal trust and confidence in what he's capable of doing. That's internal. I mean, that's something that you gain over time, in which I think confidence is the biggest factor that you can have in anything we do, whether you're an athlete or otherwise. I think the confidence that when it's a genuine confidence in what he knows he's capable of doing, and he knows if he continues to follow the routines he's always established, that he'll be able to get out of it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Confidence being the key there from Ricky Renteria on Abreu.
Yeah, there's no doubt that he believes he can hit. He's the most surprised guy around when he doesn't hit. But that isn't too often.
No, and again, it was a prolonged slump, but last night, as he continues to bust out of it, that ball was vaporized.
Oh, yeah.
0-2. He goes after the breaking ball away. This is fair, and it's Escobar. And he didn't hang on to the ball. Duda couldn't reel it in. Abreu's safe at first.
It looked like it was going to be just a terrific play, but the throw happened to be right into the runner. So the ball, Jose, arrived in the same spot at the same time. And Duda tried to do the best he could, but the ball just knocked out of the glove. Jose is safe. It is a base hit. That's just the third.
Yeah, safe in name, but he did get a face burger for his trouble.
He did, but he'll gladly trade it for a base hit with no lasting effects of it.
Daniel Polka takes upstairs. A little bit low, 2-0, and that's not exactly the position you want to be in against Daniel Polka.
Not these days.
That is a flickering green light.
Yeah, you can pretty much bet that if he likes it, he'll be hacking.
And enough movement to keep him away from it. 3-1. AL home run leaders for rookies. Andujar has passed him. Torres tied with Palka for second place.
That's exactly what the Yankees needed. 2 more guys to hit home runs.
That ball is scalded to right field. A base hit. Going to get Abreu to third. Daniel stops at first. Runners at the corners. He just loads up and makes it hurt.
This ball shoots through the infield like a rocket. It's a slider. It's on the outer third, and Daniel, with good solid contact, foils the shift. When you hit it that hard, doesn't matter where you shift. If it's not hit right at you, it's going through.
Chuck, what do you got downstairs?
Well, I was talking to Carlos Rodon before the game about Daniel Palka, and he said, this is Rodon on Palka, he said every time he steps to the plate, you don't want to miss any pitch in the at-bat because, well, obviously the damage that he can do, but he's so under control, Rodon says, that if he takes some of the same swings that he has in batting practice and uses it in games, you don't see that very often. And when he's at the plate, you never know what's going to happen, and he swings the ball, swings the bat so hard, and you see what happens. It goes right through the infield for a hit.
Yeah, and you get into a negative count against him, and you're in real trouble.
Yeah, he's been swinging it lately like he's intent on winning himself a spot for next year.
And by the way, if you're taking the red line in the afternoon around the south side of Chicago, you might see Daniel Palka on your train. He takes the train to work very often.
Yeah, he is the very person when you say, oh, he's just a regular guy. He is that guy. Making friends with all kinds of people on Twitter, Instagram, making fun of Lucas Giolito's scooter ability.
But he says no one has recognized him on the train yet.
Really?
He's just a stranger. He says not too many people are on the train when he takes it, which is normally like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon for a night game. But I think if he keeps hitting like this, he might get recognized a little more.
Yeah, I think so. We were talking about it last homestand that he and his girlfriend have an ongoing feud about him getting recognized or not. People ask her, hey, does Daniel get recognized with everything he's done so far this year? And she says, no. He's hoping that grows a little bit, I think. Two and two for Avi. That's tipped into the glove, and that will do it for Garcia. 1 gone.
Let's take a look at StatCast AI, powered by AWS. And Nicky continues to hit the baseball hard. 103-mile-an-hour exit velocity. It was a line drive, just barely made it out at 21 degrees. And for Nicky, his 5th of the year.
So 3 for 5 in the series, 6 driven in. He's another guy. If you walk up to him while he's on the street, he is as welcoming to fans, just a dude. He and Daniel Palka, the left-handed dudes on this roster.
And both of them starting to really produce.
Nicky's been all over the facial hair map the last week or so. It's like a 5. We'll show you next time he's up, but Nicky and Chuck had a little fun in the pregame festivities, or at least Nicky did, with Chuck.
You're talking about our Chuck.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Everybody's Chuck. Three and 0. He was swinging 3-1. Time to get loud. 3 balls and a strike for Nicky. Staying off that outside corner, 3-2. And by the way, on that Polka hit, it came off the bat at 108.9. Once again, he continues to mash the baseball and then bite his nails over at first. He's nervous.
Doesn't have anything to be nervous about now. He's already gotten the big hit.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Abreu at third, Polka at first. Another foul, staying away from Nicky.
Nice pretzel. Little mustard really helps, however.
Yeah, plain pretzel is an interesting take. Dollar Dog Day coming up. Nicky mad at himself. He knew it was ball 4. He pulled the trigger anyway. 2 out. Time now for Tim Anderson takes on the Royals today by AARP. Season against the Royals, 310, 3 homers, couple of them on opening day, and slugging nearly 600. Big spot here to try and bust this game open a little bit in a 1-0 lead so far.
Well, it was such a big night last night, a homer away from the cycle to go with a couple of runs scored. Like a little more of the same here this evening after that strikeout the first time up then and ended the second inning.
That was a 7-pitch at bat, eventually ending in the punch out. Line foul right side. We were talking to Tim about his bobblehead doll, and we showed it to you, diving head first. Asked where it ranked among the dolls that he'd seen, and he said, I love it because I'm actually doing something. Instead of just standing there with a bat or swinging, I'm actually doing what I do. So very heartily approved by Tim Anderson.
Stealing a base successfully, which is something he's been doing a whole lot of. He realizes that's going to be a big part of his game, and he believes he can steal 50 bags. To do that, he'll have to get on base a bit more than he has this year, but it's coming. He's getting better in every facet of the game.
Tipped foul. Chuck?
He actually gave his bobblehead to his daughter last night. She approved, which is good. She really liked it. And with a bobblehead like that, I told Tim before the game, he's got to steal a base. And he said, well, I stole 2 last night. I'll try to steal 2 more tonight. How do you like that? So let's see what happens. How about just driving in a run here? That'd be good.
Yeah, it'd be fine. And then he could steal the base after he does that. Perfect.
That'd be good.
Well, you called the Polka home run the other day, Chuck, so see if you still got the magic. Did I hear you say check swing ball 2?
I did.
Yeah, I thought so. 2-2.
I'm telepathically communicating with the home plate umpire right now.
It's Trip Gibson. He's happy to hear from you.
Polka at first, Abreu at third. 2-2. Tim hits it into the sky, and this should do it. Phillips roaming out there for out number 3, and the Sox strand a pair to lead off the inning with a couple of hits. 1-0 after 4. Electromotive, 2 for 4 for Nick Madrigal in yesterday's game against the Wilmington Blue Rocks. He is 15 for 49 with the dash over 300. And Luis Basabe, last 5 games, 3 extra base hits, 3 multi-hit games, and he has done well for himself. He goes to the Futures game and then up to AA.
And also a great glove he brings with him. He's a terrific defender.
A lot of talent coming. You've heard that already.
Yeah,
you
there
know
is.
That's true, but there are new guys permeating the system like Madrigal, drafted this year. That bat will not be used again. And Anderson pulls Abreu off, but still gets the out, so 1 gone.
And Tim's going to have to get out of the habit of doing that, which is a careless throw, and he knows that you got to put a little something on it. Because if you don't, things like this will happen. Unfortunately, they did take a pretty good base runner off base with this tag. But he takes his time, flips it underhand, and it's well off the mark. Fortunately, the tag by Jose is there. This is how you get yourself in trouble in a 1-0 game, and that's something that Tim can't afford to do.
No challenge from Ned Yost. And ball 1 as Anderson does get saved by Abreu. Phillips fouls it away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Former Milwaukee Brewer Brett Phillips, Seminole High School out of the state of Florida, former 6th round pick of the Astros.
And for Phillips, this could be the opportunity he's been looking for, because he wasn't going to get it before. Now he finds himself with a team that is in a rebuilding mode, and could very well be that he's going to be a big part of it.
And settles in for a strike, 2-2. So Lorenzo Cain goes to the Brewers, back where he started, vacating his spot in Kansas City. Kansas City then deals Moustakas to pick up a guy who comes from Milwaukee, where he was blocked by Cain, and then he gets the starting position now here in Kansas City. Strike 3. Fastball upper reaches the zone. 6 strikeouts for Kobe.
Very good late movement. Take a look at it. Gets the whole plate as it moves away from Phillips, who's fanned twice.
Season best is 8 strikeouts for Kobe, so he's 2 shy of that through 4 2/3. It's that same pitch. So easy to give up on it as a hitter.
Well, the left-hand hitters will give up on it. They haven't seen it a whole lot, and Phillips hasn't.
He's going to chop and chop and chop at that corner.
Escobar pulled the ball the first time up, which is something he doesn't usually do. He usually uses right and right center field.
Tim's got another shot. A little bit low. Abreu picks it, and that will do it. 7 in a row retired by Kobe, thanks in part to Jose over there at first. news. They've won 87 games this year. They're on their way to their 88th, and it's August.
It's really an amazing run for the Red Sox at right around 50 over 500. I would say they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, but that's the maddening part of this game, though, right? You have this awesome regular season. You're unbeatable in so many ways, and then suddenly one injury, and you're no longer the clubhouse leader as you go to the playoffs.
Well, if there is anything wrong with Chris, and the description was that it was a mild soreness in the shoulder, but if there's anything wrong with him, then it's not going to be the tremendous advantage they have using Sale.
Merrifield at second, throws out Smith. Here's your Sox math winner, Steve's selection today. So Shy 73 girl is your victor. 9 times 5, 45 is the answer. Tell us why you picked her correct answer.
Well, because I really enjoyed the video. There were some wonderfully creative answers here. But the video of the 9 to 5 movie, seeing as was 9 and 5, was pretty good. Very creative. And so, in a very close decision, a very tough and tight decision, coming down to the wire, that's the one I picked.
So for future Saturdays, as Steve's selecting the winner, remember that a 1980 Dabney Coleman movie is always a really good idea to somehow present. This is a base hit for Adam Engel. He's 2 for 2 in this game. This one a ground ball to left and a 1-out single.
Looked like Escobar, as he went to his left, didn't see the ball. It could very well be on that high hopper. It might have been obscured by the lights. That happens to infielders on occasion. Last time Adam was on, he stole second base. You can consider this one probably the same type of scenario.
You'd imagine Keller's going to pay more attention because Adams' lead was a strong one when he took off.
It was. And he's getting a very big lead again.
He's got to throw here. He didn't. Adam didn't take off. It's ball 1. There's a throw to first. Adams back. There he goes. Pitches outside. Throw is there. Caught stealing. Engel is out. Score at 2-6.
We'll take another look at it. Adam does get a good lead this time, but the throw's a bit better. Looks to me like the leg is in, actually. Let's watch it again.
That would be tough to overturn, I think.
Yeah, that's really, really close.
I would say whatever the call was on the field would probably stand in that situation, don't you think?
Probably that would be one of the reasons why they took a look at it and chose not to challenge, because it was way too close. There wasn't a bias on either side of the equation, and rather than flip a coin with your challenge at this point, they decided to just let it go.
Yeah, typically coin flips don't go terribly well in the challenge department. Especially early in the game. It's a little later, 3-2 on Moncada, who's gone full the last 2 at-bats he's been up for. Payoff coming. Line hard to right field. Moncada jumps on a 3-2 pitch and has the second hit of the inning for the Sox.
6th hit of the ball game as the Sox try to extend this lead. He got a fastball. It was middle in, and he just tapped to it.
So Yohan Moncada, you might have noticed his first 2 at-bats, he was wearing his new glasses. He, I guess you could say, premiered them last night. Well, that at-bat, no glasses, base hit.
Well, that's an interesting result, huh?
Yeah, you probably won't see the glasses too much after this, Art Chuck.
Well, you hear all the stories. You know, somebody in the offseason had LASIK, and they improved big time as a hitter. Rarely do you hear he ditched the glasses and then got a hit. We'll have to ask him about it in the coming days. Well, he's a totally new guy. He had the root canal during the off day on Thursday, Moncada.
He's lighter.
He's lighter, yeah. That'll do. Oh, 2 time call. That pitch won't count. Two strikes on Sanchez, the only run in this game on a Nicky Delmonico home run with 2 out in the second. Yolmer made it real hard on Keller last time up. Foul ball after foul ball, and he's starting down that path again. Oh, 2. Up and out. Got punched at that one and fouled it away.
Well, he's seen that fastball, which looks like a cutter, on the outside corner a number of times, including about 4 times last at bat in the 3rd inning. So he's very familiar with fouling that one off.
Yeah, Keller has been arm side to left-handers all night long, for the most part. Go to first, and Debo nearly got a projectile coming his way again.
That's been a couple of times that he almost threw it away.
It's like Josh Donaldson's pitching. Hey, join us Friday, August 31st. Sox take on the Red Sox for the first park-wide Pride Night in association with baseball. One game for all, the team's diversity and inclusion fan campaign. Get this specially priced ticket package to get a game ticket, pregame parade pass, and rainbow sunglasses. WhiteSox.com/pride to get your tickets today. Two and 2 on Sanchez. Eighth pitch of the sequence after he saw 7 last time up. Third base side and through enough, and Mondesi absolutely explodes it off his leg down the line, pushing Sanchez to second, Mondesi to third. That was Cristiano Ronaldo-like, and the Sox will take the extra base.
He booted it pretty well. I mean, that was good timing. He kicked it deep into left field, and that allowed both runners to move up. So you would think base hit and E6 just on that kick, if nothing else. But they're going with a 2-base hit, which is kind of unusual, but nonetheless, Yolmer certainly enjoys it.
So Abreu, with Cal Eldred visiting, do you face Jose? Do you face Palka is your choice? Remember, Abreu last night had a 3-run home run that helped the Sox to that 9-3 victory, and that's our subject of our random White Sox leaderboard. The most 3-run homers in a Sox uniform is Frank Thomas with 54 of them. Paulie 7 back, and Jose with his 13th last night. Impress your friends if your friends like to be impressed by 3-run homer stats. It's Abreu with second and third, 2 gone. Liner to left in the first. Single to third in the fourth. Keller starts him with a breaking ball.
There's probably only one guy in the entire dugout for our Sox that could cause them to pitch to Abreu, and that is Polka. If anybody else is in that spot, they're going to put Abreu on first base in this situation. But the last breaking ball by Keller was probably as good a breaking ball as he's thrown all night.
Fades inside, and Jose Abreu, of the people you'd want up in this spot, he's one of the top 5 in his entire career. Most RBIs since he showed up in Major League Baseball. He's number 4.
Interesting part, all right-hand hitters.
One. Broken back. Shortstop Mondesi off the double clutch. Gets out number 3. The Sox leave a couple again. That's 5 for the game, but still hold the lead 1-0. And it's the night of Dylan Covey. He's gone 5 innings and only allowed a leadoff single to Whit Merrifield. 6 punch-outs, 3 walks, 4 base runners, no runs. And for Dylan, 46 two-seam fastballs, the sinker that he throws, 46 of them, 14 called strikes, which suggests that the movement has been dizzying.
Well, there's no doubt that this has been a better Dylan Covey than we've seen in a while, especially as he moved through this lineup.
Yeah, it's that movement right there. 15 called strikes on that pitch. One and one from Covey. That was in the zone. Baffled Kevin.
Well, good late movement, and Kobe was trying to throw it over the outside corner. That one actually moved to the inside corner and just kept on moving. Want to be careful too much inside to Merrifield because there's a huge gap in left center field. You just don't want him pulling the ball in the air.
There's a look at it.
There you see that gap in the Royal pen. Brian Flynn, the big left-hander, getting loosened up. A pen that have had all kinds of difficulty this year.
Is that what you signed proclamations with? The Royal pen?
The Royal pen. That's exactly right.
A little bit low, 2-2. Kobe wanted it. Merrifield's like, yeah, it wasn't a strike. A standoff between Kobe and Merrifield. And a third party enters the fray, and a fourth, and a fifth, and here they come to the mound to discuss.
It's a cast of thousands against Whit Merrifield.
It's him against the world.
Trying to figure out just exactly what we should do at 2-2.
So that's one of the mound meetings. By the way, if the catcher and pitcher meet somewhere off the mound, I know they're called mound visits, but as the rule goes, if
like
you
for
meet,
lunch?
Well, no, within the gameplay.
Oh, I see.
But a good suggestion, as that's fouled back. If they were to meet off the third base side of the mound, that still counts as a mound visit, for those of you wondering.
Yeah, they would then get him by a technicality.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You only have 6, so you have to ration.
You have to be creative.
Down and in, 3-2 on Merrifield. Big batter here, leadoff man with good speed. And the third time through the order starting right now with Alex Gordon on deck. Three and 2. Up the middle. Yoan hangs in for round number 1. Hey, join us. First ever Sox Crawl, Saturday, September 8th. Get this ticket package for exclusive entry to the pregame crawl before the Sox take on the Angels at 6:10 p.m. You'll get an official Sox Crawl t-shirt, have the chance to play games, win prizes, and more. Have a sudsy libation or two. WhiteSox.com/SoxCrawl today. Dad jokes.
They're usually pretty good.
That's especially one place you and I agree. Gordon 2 walks so far. Walked on 4 last time. And there's a strike.
Pitch number 90 on the way. And a lemonade. Probably going really well right now.
Was he even born for 2005? This ball hit well right field. Avi at the warning track and the wall, and that will tie the game. Alex Gordon, a solo home run. His second homer against the Sox this year, and we're 1-1.
Gordon has very good numbers against Dylan Covey, and that's not a surprise. Just his 8th home run, 31st driven in, and keeps his perfect night going. 4th home run replay. It's a breaking ball, down and in, and gone.
Breaking ball fouled back by Salvador Perez. So it's going to be more than one that wins this game tonight. That's been decided. Covey right back to him for round number 2.
well defended. You've got some extra time with Salvi running, so you can take as much time as you want. But caught off the heel of the glove, and everybody is okay.
Two down for Duda, who's 0 for 6 in the series. Ball 1.
This is as drastic a shift in the outfield as we've seen. The infield is a standard pull shift.
And still, Duda finds a place for the baseball into right. He gets to second base on a 2-out double.
So the two right-handers, he's retired the two left-handers he's had some trouble with here in the 6th. That looked like a straight change. It's down, and Duda crushes it.
Bonifacio has seen a couple of pitches, and both have been ground ball outs so far tonight. Takes ball 1. Off the plate and foul, 1-1 on Bonifacio. Solo homers. The only runs, Delmonico and Gordon. Game 2 of the series, game 3 tomorrow, 1:10 start time. Paul Konerko and Hawk Harrelson on the call. Throw to second is upstairs, and Duda's back. Covey nearing pitch number 100. On the 1-1. Yeah, he wanted to check it up. Instead, he nearly knocked himself over on strike 2.
Good location for the high type fastball, and he tried to check it up, but nothing to it.
One ball, 2 strikes. 2 out. Sox bullpen is up.
Xavier Cedeno starting to throw.
Two and 2. Another foul. Sox in the 6th will have Polka, Garcia, and Delmonico coming. Long look in on 2 and 2. Royals are really making Covey work here. This all started with an 8-pitch at bat to Merrifield that ended in a ground ball to second. Gordon the home run, Perez the comebacker due to the double. A 21 pitch inning so far. Two and two one more time. Check swing. He did not go. 3-2. O'Hearn next.
That young lady has a souvenir.
And now another meeting at the mound. The infield is going to come in to talk to Covey. And we take the opportunity to remind you that you can join Ron Kittle and 4 other players and alumni on December 9th. It is Sox on the Beach with Apple Vacations. Stay 7 nights at the all-inclusive Iberostar Paraíso Lindo in beautiful Riviera Maya, Mexico. Private welcome party, autograph session, food and drink, special group activities with your White Sox hosts. A trip with Ron Kittle and 4 others should be fun.
Beautiful weather at that time.
He'll squeeze some lemonade for you. Kitty will.
Might just do it.
Three and two. Line to left. Nicky's up with it. Throw to the plate on Duda is not in time. Royals lead for the first time tonight.
Single RBI, second on the throw, and for Bonifacio, that is the 12th run driven in.
And that's going to do it for Dylan Covey. 5 2/3 tonight. 3 of the 4 hits he allowed came in this inning, and Kansas City sends him away with a surprising deficit after how he threw in the first 5 innings of this game. But Xavier Cedeno was loosening. He's coming down the stairs and in. He'll face Ryan O'Hearn when we come back.
It's about time, and it's about time that Xavier Cedeno come into this one. He's 2-0 on for the 27th time, his ERA at 3.20. He inherits Bonifacio at second base. Royals have scored a pair. They've taken the lead 2-1, and there's 2 outs here in the 6th inning.
So Dylan Covey gives up 1 hit through 5 innings, and then the Royals rock him for 3 hits in the 6th and send him out of the game. Cedeno to O'Hearn. Bonifacio at second and ball one. Bonifacio gave the Royals the lead with his single to left. On the throw home on Duda, he took second base. This to second, Yoan Moncada. For out number 3, but Kansas City takes the lead. Sox are down a run, bottom 6.
Xfinity, and it is
My rivals. It's the Marian Catholic Marching Band. We're supposed to be rivals, HF.
They are your rivals?
Well, not mine specifically. Chuck's involved, Merck's involved, Lawrence Holmes.
Yeah, I think they can definitely outthrow you, as we'll see right here. This is Sister Mary Jo, who is going to throw out the first pitch, but with a little added extra.
Look at this thing.
A pretty good job of it. Throws it in the zone.
She was dazzling.
Yes, she was.
Crowd loved it, and rightfully so. She was awesome.
And Brian Flynn comes in the ball game to face Daniel Polka. Leading off the 6th inning, and the Sox find themselves 1 run down.
One and one from Flynn to Polka.
On for the 36th time at 3-3. The ERA a little over 4, and there you look at the rest of the numbers.
Sinker slider for the most part. Daniel decided to run it out for a while. 1 and 2. You think Sister Mary Jo warmed up?
I'm pretty sure she did, because otherwise you'd have never had that much on the first pitch.
Turns out she's actually kind of a ringer, because I spoke with her after she threw that amazing, I don't know if it was a curveball, I don't know what that was. She was a center fielder playing college softball in Minnesota.
Wow.
And she said she took tremendous pride in throwing people out back in the day. So I asked her, how hard can you throw a baseball? And she purposely took something off it on the pitch there because she wanted to show her impressive movement. And she said she's been to like a county fair or an amusement park where they have that game where you can throw the baseball and they'll tell you how hard you throw it and you try to match it. She said she threw the ball. Ready for this?
Yeah.
76 miles per hour.
Man.
That's pretty good. I was impressed with how quickly it got back in her hand on that video.
It's magic.
Really is.
One down for Avi. First pitch hunting, slug to center field. Phillips for out number 2. Well, that was an eventful day for Sister Mary Jo, but Chuck, you had a rather eventful day at the ballpark too, as we have compiled. So Southpaw, your best buddy. Coop's messing around with you. The band is on the field. The band is on the field. The band is on the field.
We're on the air live right now.
So what are you going to do today?
I'm going to try to report.
Did you tell him what you had for breakfast today?
I did not tell them that. No, we haven't gotten to that.
Can we tell him?
No, we can't tell them that. That's right. Okay. It was oatmeal.
Hey, what was that about, Chuck?
Oh, really?
No, you don't have to.
Well, I mean, we can. He just came up to me when I was sitting in the dugout before the game by myself. He grabbed the microphone with no camera around, and he decided to interview me.
Yeah.
So imagine that for a second. And he asked me what I had for breakfast. I told him I had oatmeal. And then as a joke, I said I drank some gasoline.
Oh.
And
Which you'd like better?
definitely the oatmeal.
Yeah, wow.
And just because I just wanted him to like leave me alone. And he finally left. And then sure enough, he comes over to me and asks me live on the air what I had for breakfast.
So for those of you at home interested in Photoshop and things like that, if you could find a way to get a picture of Chuck drinking gasoline or something, you might want to get to work on that while you're sitting watching a ball game here. Just suggesting.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
That's nice.
I really did think, as Nicky takes ball 4, I thought you were going to get the Ricardo Montalban in Naked Gun treatment from the band. I thought they were going to walk all over you, then a steamroller was going to come right afterward.
They were really good. And by the way, I went to Sister Mary Jo and I said, by the way, I went to Homewood Flossmoor. Sister Mary Jo's got a sense of humor.
Yeah.
She said to me, oh, public school.
Ah, yes. Pitching change. Ned Yost comes out. And sorry, no more issues from Chuck. Although a little gasoline on the fire wouldn't be so bad. 2-1 your score.
Wrap up their series with the Louisville Bats. Coverage begins at 7. You can stream the game on the NBC Sports app. And time now for our Lakeside Bank call to the pen. It is Kevin McCarthy on for the 47th time. He's 4-4. His ERA, a pretty respectable 3.5. There you look at the rest of the numbers as left-handers have just torched him.
Tim Anderson watches as Nicky draws a throw. Strikeout, fly out to center. So far tonight for Tim. To third. Escobar bobbles, recovers. And a one-hopper gets out number 3. Sox lead 1. To the 7th we go. Still a 1-run game. $49.99. Watch every auto market regular season game. Plus, get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer. 2-1. Top 7. Mondesi, Phillips, Escobar coming up against Cedeno, who got the one batter he was called on for in the 6th. That's called strike 1.
Mondesi will turn around and hit from the right side. Very similar hitter from both sides of the plate. A little more power, consistently right-handed.
Sox trying to salt away the season series today. A win would do that after Sox won 9 of the first 14 against Kansas City this year. On the ground at third, Sanchez, one motion. Time to quiz Steve on his own career. It is sticks and stone. Let's see what the question makers have cooked up. Which 2 Royals hit back-to-back homers off you in your first start in 1981?
Well, I would have to say it has to be A, because I do know that George Brett hit a home run. I didn't know that McRae had hit one with him, but seeing as George is only in one of those, which is A, doesn't take Clouseau to figure out that that would have to be the answer.
Why do you remember George Brett's home run so vividly?
Because before the game, my parents were at the game because they presented them the Cy Young Award, because I was warming up in the bullpen. So my father was sitting on the bench, and Earl, the Hall of Fame manager, Earl Weaver, asked him in his gruff voice if he knew what that guy's name was. Number 5 over there in blue. Number 5 walking out now. My dad said no. He says, well, that's George Brett. He says, you know what he's hitting off your kid? My dad goes, no. He goes, he's hitting over 400 off your kid. Think your kid can get him out today? My dad said, I have no idea. So George did hit a home run, and I won the ball game, so all was right with the world. I didn't get him out, which I could never do anyway.
Yeah.
And I wound up winning the game.
It was your first start in 1981.
Opening day. It was the second opening day start I had had.
Huh.
And the last one.
Two balls and 2 strikes on Phillips.
Now that was certainly an interesting story, but if I'm wrong, then that answer's wrong.
But how could you be wrong?
Well, it could very well have been some other start that was rattling around in there.
The question is, did they give you the award your first start? As there's strike 3, Phillips is gone. And 2 down. So let's see, was that the correct answer? It's a very vivid story.
It is.
Was it right? No, it was Clint Hurdle and John Wathen.
Oh, wow. That's horrible.
I'm sure that... Oh, 2 of them.
2. Oh, woe is me.
I'm sure that happened. It
Yeah.
just happened in a different start.
It did. Yikes. Oh, well. I told you, it's just after the lost decade.
Yeah, it's right after the post-lost decade years. We'll have to figure out when they gave you your award, because I'm sure that happened.
No, it was opening day, but I just gave up a couple of home runs, which was not unusual.
And it always comes
pretty
back
much
to
get used to that.
self-deprecation.
No, I mean, I just gave up a lot of home runs. I had no sinker. I was a high fastball pitcher, and they just happened to waft their way out of the ballpark on occasion.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Hang glide out of there, sort of.
Pretty much.
Cedeno 0-2 for Escobar. Trying to make quick work of the Royals. Chop to third. Sanchez cuts it off and throws him out. 2 ground balls and a strikeout. We'll refresh Steve on his name after this. Back today by visiting Athletico.com to request your complimentary injury screening and have your pain or injury assessed by our experts for free. Athletico, the official physical therapy provider of the Chicago White Sox. Athletico, better for everybody. Maybe it's time for a rally here. The Sox got 7 in the 7th last night against the Royals bullpen in large part. And we'll see if that's going to be the case again tonight.
2 3-run homers in the 7th last night. Abreu and Delmonico.
Marist College's own Kevin McCarthy to face Kevin Smith. Kevin's son, just born a couple of weeks ago, got to take in his first White Sox game last night, which is pretty cool for dad and family. One settles in for a strike, 1-2.
That was a good change, especially when you're not used to seeing it. It's especially good.
Wide of third and foul. So 7-run inning for the Sox last night in the 7th. That was the largest inning for the Sox this year. July 28th against Toronto, a 6-run 8th. Not a lot of 5 spots, especially after the first month of the year, June and July, with 5 of them. Opening day against Kansas City, 3 of those big innings have come against the Royals. Left side, through, base hit. Good start.
Looked like he got a slider out away and just pulled it through the left side. Hit it between Escobar and Mondesi. There was that slider and just stayed on the outer third of the plate. No movement. Movement would have taken it off the good part of the bat, but lack of movement cost him a base hit.
Adam Engel's 2 for 2 in this game. 2 hits to the left side. Down a run. We'll see what the Sox play for, and it looks like it's the 1-run inning. Typically, if you're going to bunt with a runner at first and nobody out, you are playing for the tie. You're hoping for 1 run. And as you play it forward, the idea would be to get Abreu up in this inning. He's 4th right now. Engel, Moncada, Sanchez, Abreu. That's foul.
Now
that, in the box?
That hit him. That's the question. And he says, Tripp Gibson is saying, yes, it did hit him. Of course, Salvi Perez wants that call. He wants the out call, but Gibson, right on the call, said he was in the box.
If it hits Engel outside of the batter's box, he's out. It didn't. It's strike 2.
We'll take another look. No, Bonds up and got him when he was in the box. That was a good call by Gibson.
And it's where it hit him the first time.
Yeah, it hit his knee first and then
dead ball
up, yeah.
when it contacts him. He showed bunt on 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. You know, the thing is, if Kevin Smith ends up at second, it might take a pair of hits to get him home.
Well, the big advantage is that the outfield arms are not great, except for Phillips in center.
Yeah, that's foul. Strike 3. 1 gone.
And here comes Ned Yost.
This is likely going to be to spin Moncada and Sanchez around.
Well, it looks like Hill once again in the bullpen, so he wants to make sure that it is the lefty he faces, and you're right, Jason, it is, to make those 2 hitters hit from the right side. So as he comes running in, we'll come walking out and be back. with a most unusual motion. Tim Hill, for the second time in as many days, comes into the ball game on for the 54th time. Gave up a couple of runs in the ball game last night. One of them earned, and his ERA up over 5. He inherits Kevin Smith at first base, representing the tying run with 1 out here in the 7th.
Sinker slider. And there's the sinker for strike 1.
With that sinker from the side, you throw a lot of ground balls, and if Yoan were to hit a ground ball, he'd really better hustle to keep the inning alive for Yolmer.
You know, the interesting thing about giving up the out on the bunt is you do have this situation developing where Kansas City has a lefty remaining to face your switch hitters who are better against right-handed pitchers than left-handed pitchers. The hope is that one of them can come up with a hit and allow Abreu to have the chance here in the 7th. One out, 0-2 from Hill on Moncada. Shook him down, 1-2. Foul from Moncada. Kansas City took the lead with a 2-run 6th, and this souvenir ends up with a youngster.
Look how happy he is.
Life made right there. Real close.
That one could have gone the other way, went Yoan's way. This is the 54th appearance for number 54.
Oh, that's called strike 3, and it wasn't.
Yoan not very happy with that ball that hooked around the plate. That one did not have a piece of the outside corner, but he gets rung up anyway. There's the hook, and it stays outside.
The 1-2 was closer.
Yes, it was.
2 down, Sanchez the batter. Almost got him.
Big at bat for Yolmer to keep this inning alive as Jose's in the on deck circle.
You keep Jose from having to lead off the 8th. You give him an RBI chance.
And the one right-hander is Brandon Maurer, the hard-throwing right-hander who's had a whole lot of problems this year. Maurer sporting a 9-point ERA in 24 appearances. 30 hits in 20 innings to this point.
Yeah, he's not had a great season overall or against the Sox.
You take a look at that fastball, you wonder how anybody catches up to it.
Two and two. Single for Smith, bunt out for Engel, strike 3 to Moncada, and now it's up to Yolmer. Two. He struck him out. Leadoff single goes by the boards. We'll take a trip around Major League Baseball for a splashdown after this. Eric Hosmer trying to go deep, and he finds a beer. It's gone, and it's drinkable. Splash. It's a home run. And it's thirst quenching. Around for everyone, says Eric Cooper. And another beer for that guy. How about that?
Genmar Gomez comes in the ballgame on for the 14th time. ERA 6 3/4. He's 0-1. Got a 1-run deficit to try to preserve with the top of the order, and that's the one spot that produced all those runs in the 6th.
That's it's quite the rally cap.
Anything works, but we'll need it next half inning.
I think so. Gomez against Merrifield, who's 1 for 3. Big rip, strike 1. So the Sox in the home 8th will have Abreu, Palka, and Garcia coming up. So lots of pop on the way. Slider for strike 2. Genmar Gomez, the well-traveled former National League reliever, came up through the Indian system, then Pirates and Phillies, where he was the closer in Philadelphia 2 years ago. (2013) might have been his best year. His walks and hits per inning was just above 1 that season. Strikeouts were down from where he was last year, but there's a punch out, one gone. He planted it on the outside corner to Merrifield.
Great pitch right on the corner, and it took a base running threat and kept him off base. Perfect spot.
Here's Alex Gordon, who tied the game last time. That was a solo home run with 1 out in the 6th. I think the Royal scouting report says swing at the first pitch.
First ball fastball, you might as well go after it.
Moncada throws Gordon out, 2 gone. Hey, Sox fans, back by popular demand, the Chicago White Sox are offering a limited edition cancer ribbon White Sox cap for just $25. $10 from every cap sold. Supports White Sox charities and Rush University Medical Center in cancer research. Caps are now available online and at the ballpark. You visit whitesox.com right now /rushcap. Whitesox.com /rushcap to get yours today. Maybe taken in the game from Farmio and DJ in the crowd. Oh, and 1 on Salvador Perez. Two down, base is empty. That ball hung and Perez whacked it to left, a 2-out single.
Fortunately, he did not get under that one because that one hung right up in his eyes and hit a line drive rocket, but it went into left field as Ricky Renteria wants to go to the pen one more time.
Lucas Duda, the left-hander, is the batter, which presumes that it won't be a right-hander like Gomez, and it instead will be Luis Avilan. So Avilan against Duda when we come back. 2-1 the score in the 8th.
To try to get one big out. On for the 56th time. He's 2-1 ERA, just below 3.5. There you look at the rest of the numbers. Left-handers have done nothing with him, and Ricky Renteria hoping that continues with Duda coming to bat.
So Duda, who's 1 for 3 with a run scored off the double in the 6th. That right now is the winning run. Sox had the leadoff man aboard in the 7th, but couldn't score Kevin Smith. 3 straight strikeouts ended the inning. First one drops low, a curveball at 68. 1-0. Hit to right. Avi charging. Avi's there. Avilan gets the out. Leila Rahimi has an update after this, and we also have Abreu. Bullpen, which goes a little deeper right now.
Got a new pitcher in the ball game, and it is a man we talked about last inning. Brandon Maurer comes on with a 9.0 ERA. More walks than strikeouts. Opponent's hitting a robust .357. And Jose trying to get a piece of a very good fastball.
Abreu 1 for 3. First one is a breaking ball, down and out. Fastball for Maurer averages 96. Slider again, back to back, 1-1. That one stuck around in the zone for a while. Jose declined 1 and 2, 3 sliders.
The third of which didn't do much, but he did catch the outside corner.
Four sliders, 2 and 2. Sprinkle in a fastball, see what you get. Wouldn't dare.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But we'll see what Salvi wants. That's a fastball away, and that is not.
And another slider, 3 and 2. Daniel Palka next. He's been a magnet for these spots lately. Payoff from Maurer, 3 and 2. Jose fouls it away.
First fastball he saw, 99, and he fouled it straight back, meaning he was on it, just under it.
See if he pokes at the hive one more time. Abreu locked in, 3 and 2. Slider ripped to left field. Gordon can't get there off the Jose on his way to second. Throw there is not in time. It's a leadoff double in the eighth.
Two hits tonight for Jose, and that one a rocket. 35th double of the year. We'll take another look at it. It is another slider, only this time Jose goes down and gets it, and he crushes it. This ball just accelerates over the head of a very good left fielder, and Gordon makes it a little closer than it should have been with a decent throw into second base. And that is the tying run.
So you've got Polka up. Avi next is 4 for his last 48. Mauer guns in a strike at 96. Low. Game winners galore for Daniel Polka the last couple of weeks. Can he put the crosshairs in yet another? In the air, left field and foul, 1-2.
That was his straight change at 89.
The batting average against his changeup this year is .625. That's 10 for 16, 2 homers.
He tried it there and got away with it.
One-two. Fastball elevated at 97. Nice pitch. One gone.
You figure one of these was forthcoming. If he used the fastball, he had to keep it up. He was able to do both.
One out for Robbie. He came out of the game yesterday after not running out a ball in the first inning. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Slider, ball one. Brandon Mauer, former 23rd round pick 10 years ago. It's a signal for home run. '97 fouled away, 1-1. Sox led 1-0 after 2. Royals got 2 in the 6th to lead 2-1. 1-1. Chopped foul. Another slider, 1-2. Abreu at second, 1 out. Mauer struck him out. Slider is out, number 2, and it's up to Nicky.
Well, Nicky's been swinging it pretty well.
And he's got the BP home run of the game.
And there it is, line drive rocket. That coming in the second inning, making it a 1-0 ball game, and it stayed that way until the 6th.
He got the new Sox home run chain for his troubles.
That literally is called the home run chain. You hit a home run, you get that chain.
Feels like the U.
Although Daryl Boston wants it to be an outfield chain, so whenever someone makes a big catch, you get it. But no, it's only for home runs.
Well, let's put it on Nicky again. See if Debo wins that argument at some point, but it's about a home run now. He takes strike 2. I think he might have thought upon reflection that that was a pitch he wanted to hit. Can he end up with that around his neck again? It would give the Sox the lead. Instead, it's a slider for strike 3. Mauer strikes out 3 in a row, and we'll go to the 9th. The Royals in the series finale. Hawk Harrelson back in the booth, and he's joined by World Series champion and hitting aficionado Paul Konerko. Very analytical. Should be a great broadcast. Coverage starts at 12:30, and you can stream the game on the NBC Sports app. We'll talk to you again Monday in Minneapolis. The Sox have a 1-game road trip. Staring at them, making up again 3 games from the great snow globe of April.
And then right back here to face those same Twins.
2 planes, not the same plane.
Not the same plane. Could save on some money, though.
Save some gasoline for Chuck to drink. Ball and a strike on Bonifacio, who had the game winner so far. It's an RBI single last time up in the 6th. That Minnesota team trailing Detroit 6-3 in the 7th tonight. If you missed it, Houston has come all the way back to the pack, at least the Oakland portion of the pack in the American League West. The A's with a win against the Astros this afternoon. That's a dead heat in the AL West now.
Pretty amazing. Oakland winning 7-1 today, out hitting them 11-2 and tying them in the standings.
Leadoff walk. Bonifacio on to first. The crazy AL West. Seattle playing in just a little while against the Dodgers. That's a 4-game spread over the Mariners right now. Could be a 3-team race all the way to the end.
It's really an interesting race. We talked about that race earlier, and the injury to Altuve has really ground down the Astros.
Royals are going to pinch hit here. Rosell Herrera replaces O'Hearn, the left-hander. So Avilan will face The switch hitter Herrera going right. Do have two righties remaining on the bench, Butera and Hunter Dozier. He's on to bunt and takes ball one.
He does have one bunt this year, and it came from the right side.
Nice swinging, and he clocks it to left field. Delmonico back at the track to make the catch. Out number one. Big Sox fans celebrating birthday number 70 with an entire group with all themed t-shirts. Dan Denuelis. Happy birthday number 70 to Dan and all of his friends and family and grandsons, daughters, son-in-laws, and everybody with a shirt in attendance. Great way to spend your birthday at a Sox game. Hopefully we can get them a walk-off win.
Go a long way toward doing that by getting out of this inning.
Throw to first. Mondesi's been a ground ball factory, at least tonight. He's 0 for 2 with a bouncing ball to short and a bouncing ball to third.
Bonifacio has yet to attempt a stolen base.
High into the night sky. Yoan for out number 2. On this date in White Sox history, Adam Dunn in Kansas City, 2012, 400th career home run. Watch where it ends up, and watch who ends up with it. That guy went head first into the fountains.
He did. I don't think it was a good career move for him, but he might have gotten the baseball.
He dunked himself. Congratulations to Adam on the 400th home run. Obviously a milestone for him. As Kevin gets in front of the ball. All right, just watch the guy who's trying to track down the home run ball with spot shadow him. He climbs over the railing and jumps in. Good form. Head first. Splash. And the other Royals fans, what's he doing?
White Sox fan decided he wanted a souvenir and was going to go get it.
Like Augustus into the chocolate river. Two 2-0 on Phillips. Sox in the 9th will have Anderson, Smith, and Engel scheduled. Narvaez, Garcia, Davidson on the bench. Two 2-0. He watches it low. 3-0. Not close. 2 on, 2 out, and we may have a pitching change here. Let's see how Ricky Renteria wants to. Yep. 2 on, 2 out. It's going to be righty-righty with Escobar. Avilan. 2 walks in the inning, a line out and a pop out. And Juan Minaya to face Escobar. 2-1 in the 9th when we come back.
try to keep it at a 1-run deficit on for the 34th time. ERA of 4.5. He's 1-2 overall. Left-handers have done nothing with him, but Escobar will face him from the right side.
Escobar has spent the night on Roger Bossard's turf. On the grass, on the dirt, on the left side of the infield. 2 grounders to third, 1 to shortstop for Escobar. It was last night 2 for 2. Single, double, walk, run scored. That's a high fastball. 1-0 on Escobar. Sox again will have 7, 8, and 9 scheduled in the 9th inning. Anderson, Smith, and Engel.
And you want to end it right here. You want to leave Merrifield in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, you do. Javi was playing toward the line, and this is going to get down. Throws cut off and no play. It's 3-1 Kansas City on the Escobar single as he plunked it down into right.
Just a 26th run batted in for Escobar, but a big one here tonight. Javi is over toward the line and very shallow, but he has to drift to his right. And that allowed just enough for the leadoff walking Bonifacio to score. Throw cut off and no other play.
Merrifield will bat in this 9th. Escobar with his 3rd hit of the series. Six bags for Escobar this year. He's not much of a threat to steal.
6 of 7 though, so when he's run well.
Whit Merrifield a couple times has had the look of somebody who got there early for a doctor's appointment that ended up being an hour later than planned. No throw to second. Stolen base for Escobar.
By running with Escobar, they were trying to force a throw from Kevin Smith. He decided to hold on to it.
Phillips stays at third.
Well, Phillips has pretty good speed, so you throw through, it's probably going to cost you a run.
Two and one. In the air, right center field. Avi. For round number 3, Royals do get a run on 1 hit and 2 walks. Sox need 2 to tie, 3 to win.
Sister Mary Jo. With some style and some flourish and a strike.
Everybody, this was wonderful. Appreciate it. Go, very Catholic. Woo! That was the speed I threw. 60 miles an hour.
How about it?
Pretty good job of it as Willie Peralta comes into this one out for the 22nd time. He's 7 for 7 in save opportunities. He's got a situation here where he's got a 2-run lead.
More slider than anything is what the Sox will see. Peralta replaces Maurer, who went 1 inning, gave up the leadoff double and nothing else as he struck out 3 in a row. Peralta to Anderson. Fly ball right side. Phillips for out number 1. Omar's grabbed a bat. He's going back to the dugout. We'll see if he returns. It's going to be Leury Garcia. Narvaez was going to hit with a runner on. Garcia will hit with the bases empty. So Omar has flashed enough power to be the one that Ricky Renteria may call upon for that tying home run if it gets there. Kevin Smith finishes 1 for 3. Strike 1. Omar's got a bat now. He's on deck for Engel. Up and out, 1-1. Tomorrow's game, a 1:10 start time. Pitching matchup: Heath Fillmeyer, Reynaldo Lopez. Hawk Harrelson, Paul Konerko have the call for you tomorrow. Fly to left. Gordon for the second out of this 9th inning. Omar will hit for Engel. Adams' last act offensively in this game is the bunt out in the 7th. He finishes 2 for 3. Sox had the leadoff man on in both the 7th and the 8th. Oh, 1. Hovers in there. Change up for strike 2. Line to right and foul from Omar. He'll stay alive. Moncada next. Sanchez to follow in case the Sox can drum up a rally in this 9th. Oh-2 is upstairs.
Peralta tried to get everything he could on that last one, but it sailed well high of the zone.
One and 2 on the pinch hitter Narvaez. Flipped foul. Omar's not going to give it away. Twelve strikeouts for Royals pitchers tonight. Omar trying to keep the train moving. 1 and 2 in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Narvaez. Batting .364 since June the 7th. The second best batting average in baseball over that time. A tough out indeed. 2-2. He struck him out, and the game is over. Kansas City levels the series at 1. And the deal breaker is tomorrow.
And the Sox left 8 men on, and they had the opportunities tonight. They couldn't get it done early against Keller, and then the combination of Flynn, McCarthy, Hill, Mauer, and then Peralta got it done. So the bullpen, which has been so porous for Kansas City, won it tonight. And third final and rubber game of this particular series tomorrow.
We'll see you on Monday. We'll see Hawk
Indeed.
and Paulie coming up tomorrow. Enjoy that as we say goodnight. For our producer, Keon Dolak-Shahi, for Southpaw, for Sister Mary Jo, for our director, Jim Angio, our associate producer, Dave Ross, our tech manager, Mark Harper, executive producer, Greg Bowman, and our entire NBC Sports crew, plus the new home run chain. He's Steve Stone. Chuck Hartfine's downstairs. Jason Benetti saying so long from Guaranteed Rate Field. Coming up next, Subaru White Sox post-game live. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on NBC Sports Chicago. Good night.